All right, all right. It is the other white hats. Now, I want to talk to my spiritual community because a lot of my spiritual community has been following me on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, all of that. And what I want to say about it is, I want to say that I'm trying to unify. I was doing the whole spiritual thing only. And I was only talking to spiritual oriented people and, trying to help the spiritual community, with, guidance and, just different information, my channels, whatever. But after doing that for 15 years, I've decided that I'm ready to go in a new direction. I actually feel like I'm being pushed by um, all that is consciousness, the higher consciousness, like my higher self, my guides, the creator itself. I really feel like right now that I'm being pushed in a different direction. So let me explain why the new name and why the shift. I spoke to the spiritual community for so long, and I've talked only to the spiritual community, and of course, new people, whatever. But it was always directed toward those people that are trying to understand the spirituality and all that, and that's fine. And I love doing it. I did it for 15 years, but now I want to focus on something I found. I was looking online. I was like, where's the creator? What's it doing? How's it manifesting in physical reality? Well, I can see in the spiritual community by the ability of the spiritual community to grow, people reaching out, people helping people, with their spiritual path and all that. But where is it in your president or your politics or in the government, all of this, and how's it playing out? Now, you all know we are aware of the white hats. I've talked about them before, and I told you that I felt that the white hats are in communication with the Galactic Federation, the Federation of Worlds, whatever you want to call it, the Pleiadians, the Andromedans, the Octarians, and the Lyrans, all these different ones, and so many of them we don't even know. And these white hats that are helping Donald Trump, it's like a team. They're taking information not only from the white hats and them, but they're being guided by the Galactic Federation and the ETs. And so I've explained that, but I never really focused on that. I just focused on spirituality. Well, I think it's important because the spirituality, when you put it out there, it's very hard for the masses. I call it the anchor, they call it normies, and that's okay. But we got to focus on them because I feel like the spiritual community is awake, but it's the normies, as they call them, or the anchor. See, we have an anchor on the planet because we're all one. We're all the same consciousness. We're all the same connected. So sure, you're spiritual, you're light, you're patriots, the QAnons and all this, they're all out there, they're all doing it, but the mainstream anchor has no clue of anything. And so what I want to do with this channel is I want to reach out to them and give them a spiritual perspective of what's going on. The Patriots, Underground Patriot, they've got a great platform on YouTube and on, Rumble and all these other things. And it's just beautiful what they're doing. And when I found them, I was like, what is this? I had no idea that there was somebody out there that was doing something in the tangible, physical understanding of the masses. Because if you come at them with spirituality or your spiritual beliefs or whatever, you're never going to touch them. You're never going to get them. You're never going to affect them. I know I've been doing it for 15 years. Sure, you affect those that are awakening and all of that. But what about the masses? Our anchor's stuck. It's going nowhere. The general public need to hear through the lies and through all the comms and all of this. They don't understand any of that. And what I saw with these guys is they're trying to help the general public understand that. Well, and they use their sources they have, or they watch the different videos that are put out by Donald Trump and the media and all that, and then they weigh in on that. And I think it's beautiful, and I think that it takes the mass and the anchor, and it brings it together, because they're not going to connect, and maybe they do, but I think it's very hard for them to connect in an advanced spiritual understanding. And I struggled with the masses in that. And I think this is that gap trender. This takes away the gap between spirituality and what's really going on in the world. And what these guys are doing, and there's so many of them that are spiritual, that are in the whole patriot movement and the QAnons and all of that. And they're doing a great job. But what I want to do is and I was really inspired by Scotty, who goes by Patriot Street Fighter, and Carrie Cassidy, super inspiring, and Mike King and Patriot, and the Journey to the Truth, the two guys on there. Man, I just love it, and I love what they're doing. But what I want to add is, you guys know that have been following me for 15 years. I've been doing this 20 years, but I didn't really get a real good following. On Facebook, I had a big following. TikTok, we'd lost the account. They just took it away, but whatever. So, all these people that follow me and that listen to me, I want you to understand, I want to reach the masses. And I really believe that explaining to them the real truth that's unfolding in front of them, that they can see. See, when you come at them with only spirituality, it's hard for them to see it, because everyone experiences it differently. But this is where we meet them and where they'll pay attention. So I want to use my connections. You guys know I have lots of sources. I connect with ETs by channeling, automatic writing, remote viewing, inner remote viewing of the astrology that's currently in place, all these kinds of things. So on this show that I'm going to start taking the comms and the different videos and the cue drops and whatever, and I'm going to start talking to the masses, because we need them to make a choice. And that's what's going on right now. You've got people that don't know anything, and they're waking up to all these atrocities and all these things, and this president that's doing stuff everywhere, and they're like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. They need to be balanced. They need to be guided. We need to answer the questions for them, not just put up these videos and then, just put out the information, but actually have dialogue with the people that are, they're going to have questions. What is this? What's going on? How does that connect spiritually? How does this movement connect spiritually? All of those things is what I want to cover on this channel. And I have a very good connection with the Nook, who's an Andromedan. I have several Palladian emissaries and Council of Light that I talk to in channel and automatic writing and remote viewing and inner journey. I mean, there's so many ways that I connect with them. But when I watch these different podcasts by these different people, and then I look at the material myself, then I'll ask his opinions. So when I'm speaking, I'm not just speaking in my opinion. I'll say, hey, no, this is the opinion of the emissaries of the Pleiades, or this is the perspective of a Nook, and whatever. And I want to weigh those things in, because you guys don't understand. The only way that we get that ET connection to the extraterrestrial family is by getting rid of the gap. And that's what I want to do. These patriots are really good. They, the QAnons, they got just really good podcasts. Patriot Street Fighter, Underground. I think it's Underground Patriot Prophecies or whatever, and then the Journey, a Spiritual Truth Journey, or Journey to Spiritual Truth. These guys are great, and they got a lot of different platforms. Mike King, all these different people. So what I want to do is I want to share my perspective, and I've already reached out to some of them. I'd like to get on there and have some round tables and bring some of what I've got to the table and the different perspectives. So I'll be loading new videos. I'm going to try to load as many as I can in a week. I mean, when I'm busy, maybe it'll be one a week. If I'm not busy, 2, 3. I'm going to try to hit it hard in the beginning so that I'll be able to get enough videos out there, because I started new YouTube, new X, new Facebook. Well, actually, the Facebook is the same, and the YouTube is, but I mean, I changed them over so they're different. And I got rid of all the old videos I was doing and everything, which I have copies of all that on Facebook and on my phone. But I just got rid of them off YouTube because I don't want to distract for these people, the masses that are going to be looking at these videos. I want them to really understand. And so I don't want any confusion. So I removed the videos. But I'll be going live on TikTok, Rumble, or no, I'm not TikTok. I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to do TikTok again. I'm out. But YouTube, Rumble, X, Patreon, and Facebook. And I'll be putting these videos up. And anybody that's got questions or whatever, I'll try to watch the live stream and see y'all's questions or whatever and try to answer them. And I want to be on a one-on-one base on this screen, but I also need to get out the information that I'm doing. And I ask for all of you to just be patient with me and let me cover the material. And then once I cover the material, I'll do a question and answers, and try to do that, keep it respectful, that kind of thing, and in order. But I want to give the perspective of my contacts, our extraterrestrial family, my inner intuition, my experience as a spiritual person who's been out in the spiritual limelight for a very long time. But where I was mainly focused just on the spiritual community, now I'm going to focus on the masses, because the spiritual community is awake. The spiritual community knows its choice and knows to make it. Your masses, or the normies as they call them, I call them the anchor. They anchor us. And no matter how bright we get, no matter how in tune we get, no matter, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot my earphones in there. No matter how in tune we get, no matter whatever we do, if the masses are not being able to follow and they're not being able to understand what you're doing, man, you don't affect them at all. And the spiritual community has had little to no effect on the masses. Yeah, some, but I've been doing it 15 years. And I think this is how we do it. We show them what the president's doing. Show them that it's the White Hats. Show them they have an agenda. Show that they're saying these things, they're doing these things. The first video I put out is going to be massive. And I just can't wait. But this is the introduction. So I'm calling it the other White Hats, boots on the ground. What does that mean? Well, you have the White Hats that are working with Trump, but we, the people, we are White Hats. They're not the only ones. We've got to pick up our white hat, put it on, and go to work. And how do we do that? Well, first off, if you're, in the masses and or normies, as they say it, we've got to get the message out to them. And I think they're doing this beautifully. And I want to bring the alien perspective on it, and my remote viewing techniques, and my inner astrology techniques, and my connection to Anuk and the other extraterrestrials that I'm connected to, and weigh in all this instead of, just doing the research. And so I've got a really good video that's going to come out. I'm going to drop it. I'm going to try to drop it today. I'm going to put this out right now. And then a little later on today, I'll put out another video. And it'll be my first video covering this. And I've got some great stuff. Trump did some really phenomenal things. And I don't think people really see the depth of it. They get that he's doing it, but not the depth. And that's what I want to do. And I want to bring the extraterrestrial perspective on it, of those positive ETs that are working with us. And so that's really what I want to do. So get ready for excitement. Get ready for me to come out. guys know what a fire I got. You guys know when I get on that mojo, man, I'm just relentless. And I'm telling you, I'm going to do what I call a double investigation. I'm going to do a video that I've pre-recorded, and I'm going to play it in the video, and then I'm going to comment on it because I'm already commenting on what's been said by Trump and by other people, and whatever I'm covering. Sometimes it may be the Patriots. Sometimes it will, people that are really out there and really making it. I'd like to speak on them as well and cover and let them know what a great job they're doing. I think the community needs to know, that they're doing a good job, and they really are. And I just want to bring that balance of the inner intuitive, the spiritual presidents, and the ET connection, and the techniques that I use that were given to me by Nook. A lot of this has a lot to do with a Nook. A Nook is an Andromedan extraterrestrial that I've been channeling, kind of like Bashar channels and other channels out there. And he's been channeling with me for like 15 years. And so much information he's given me, given others, and given my family. And just, I really love his perspective. And he's very bright. And there's others too. He's just one of them, but he's one of the main ones. And then there's a Lyrian that I talk to, and there's the Pleiadian emissaries and Pleiadian councils of light. There's the Nocturians, and there's so many different energies and frequencies that I communicate with, and I want to share that perspective along with what I can see myself. And so I'm going to blend this. I'm going to put out this really beautiful video, and I'm going to keep doing it, guys. And I'm going to keep covering these topics to help the masses, as you call them, the normies, figure this out. Anybody else that's out there that's not trying to wake up, we don't have to worry about them because they're going to sort out their own problem. Because there's two realities right now. There's a reality that is going into the same old 3D narrative that we're in. And right now, what's happening is this anchor, I call it, you guys call them the normies, they're making decisions. Am I going to wake up? They're not making decisions. Okay, I'm awake. What's going on? They're not there yet. They're just trying to decide, can I wake up? And we see it every day. And so the ones that do wake up, they're going to be going on this timeline with us, and they're going to anchor us in. And until we can get them to follow us at their own pace as best we can and just be patient, we're going to be anchored where we are. All the light in the world can fly around, but it's never going to move that. And I want to start moving that. And so that's the whole point of this. So I'm super excited. I can't wait, guys. I hope you guys are, it's where we're going to go, what we're going to do. And remember the key, I always say, none left behind, not even one, because we are one. Because we can't leave the masses behind. We can't just forget about them and try to race ahead. We can't just say, well, they'll never get it. No. They're going to get it. That's the point of this. It's all a unity. And the ones that don't decide that they want to wake up or feel like this is too much for them or they're not ready, we've got another timeline that they'll move on in the narrative. And as these decisions are made by the anchor, we'll no longer be anchored in even reality where people couldn't choose. We'll be in a reality where everyone chose in their own way, in one way or another. So that's what I want to cover, guys. Super excited. I hope you guys are ready for this. Here we go. Thank you guys so much.